Time you saw our country win at anything. We don't win anymore. We don't win. When did we beat China in trade? We don't beat them in trade. They take our jobs, they take our manufacturing, they take our money, then they loan it back to us. Did you see recently that China is right now owed by us, we're paying interest on $1.3 trillion. So think of it. And then they come to the White House and President Obama honors them with a state dinner. Think of Mexico's dinner. They're killing us at the border, and they're killing our people too, by the way. But they're killing us at the border. It's like a sieve. It's like a sieve. It's like water just pouring through. People coming through by the hundreds of thousands. And you know, you don't have to really be very smart to realize that when people come from Mexico and all over South America, and probably, by the way, the Middle East and other places, we're not getting their best and their finest. Okay? You folks aren't coming in. And you folks, the equivalent in Mexico, they're not coming in. From don't want those people. And we take them. And then we ship them all over the country. We're like a dumping ground, folks. I hate to say it. It's a horrible thing. We're like a dumping ground. We're a dumping ground for other people's problems. You know, if you want to become a citizen of Mexico, it's one of the hardest countries in the world to become a citizen of Mexico. Almost impossible. And yet us, they send these people in, just send them into the stupid people that are running the United States. They'll take them. They'll do all sorts of things. And now you look at some of these places, they want to give them health care, they want to give them, I mean, it's just insane. And we can't afford it. Number one, we shouldn't be run out much. Okay? That's all. So I don't care. But Rubio, after hearing this, goes 4 days, and he doesn't give the right answer. After watching Bush make a total ass of himself, Rubio then makes an ass out of himself. The guy had 17 trips. Between his wife and himself, he had 17 tickets. Driving tickets. I thought I was bad. This guy had 17 driving violations. I know they're putting it down, they're saying, oh, it's not a big deal. This is why the Republicans love me, by the way. I saw your chairman nationwide once saying, well, 17 is not so bad, and a lot of them had to do with the wife. I don't care. 17 in one two people. 17. Well, I'm honored that you're but I have so much to say. I don't want to wait for these freaking students. A lot of times you're applauding. That's true. They say, he made a great speech, but he should let the people applaud, because I always cut through it, so I stop. Because I have so much to say. There's so much that's screwed up in this country that you can just talk forever. But I know the negotiators that are phenomenal. I know the ones that are overrated. A lot of them overrated. People think they're great, they're not great. I know the best, I know the dummies. Believe me, I know them all. And I would put people, and they'd be so honored. You know, they're rich people. They'd be so honored. If I brought them in, they'd be so honored to represent us. Let me give you an example. So, you probably read recently, a month ago, that Tennessee was going to get this major automobile company to go to Tennessee. And they were going to build a big plant. It was going to be $1 billion plant. Well, they decided at the last moment, shockingly, that they wouldn't do it. They're going instead to Mexico. Mexico. So Mexico's killing us at the border. And by the way, nobody can build a wall like Trump. Nobody. That I can. Even the candidates agree with that. Even the candidates say, I agree, he's the best wall builder. Nobody will. You know, just before I get to that, the other day, I was driving down with one of the candidates. You know what might they like me? I don't think they're going to like me very much after this deal is over, but that's okay. I hope they don't, because then I'm making an impact. But I'm driving outside, and the road was so bad. You know, our infrastructure, just in case you don't know, is going to hell. Our bridges, 60% of our bridges are like in danger. 60%, is that possible? 60%. Our airports are like third world. Our roads are in horrible shape. I'm riding down this highway, it's in bad shape, we get a bump. You know, it's a highway in New York. And I'm with a certain person, political person. I'm saying, look at the medians. You know those terrible medians, those metal medians that are always rusted, rotting, broken? Did you ever see them more than like 20 feet that they're like in good shape? Whoever owns that company, I say, is the single greatest salesman in America. The worst shit I've ever seen. It's true. And naturally, they don't pay any tax, nothing this, they're going to make cars, they're going to put them in the United States, tax-free, you know, we're a bunch of dummies, right? Okay. So about 2 weeks ago, it's announced that Ford, good company, is going to build a $2.5 billion plant in Mexico. Can you believe it? And they're going to make cars and trucks and parts, and they're going to send them into the United States. Tax-free. Now, how does this, I mean, who is the genius? How does this help us? So they're going to make cars and trucks. And, now, this means that a factory that would have gone to the United States, they're going to make thousands of them. A factory that would have gone someplace in the United States, go to Mexico. So they're going to make it with Mexico labor. And remember, again, Mexico's not our friend. They do not like us. Okay? I mean, they like us because we're stupid, but other than that, they don't like us. So this is a plant that's going to Mexico. And $2.5 billion, they're going to make all of these things. They're going to say, now I had an idea, I thought it was great. Let the illegals drive the cars and trucks in and stay, because it's much cheaper. Think of it. That'll be the next thing. They can bring in the cars and trucks and just drive right through the border and everything's good. Everybody has lobbyists, if you're smart. So here's what the story is. I'll tell you what I would do in a second, but I'll tell you what they'll do then. If they're smart, they'll do the same thing. They'll call up Ford, they'll say, you know, we don't really like what you do, but they won't say tax because that's too harsh. And then the next day, Ford will call up, or that hour, or that minute, will call up their local lobbyists or their donors and say, please call the president. He's actually not happy about our deal. And the lobbyist will call the president and say, you can't do that. They contributed to your campaign. You can't do that. That's horrible. And you know what? They'll be able to do it. They'll make the cars, they'll make the trucks, they'll have thousands and thousands of jobs in Mexico. There won't be any tax. They'll come in, and we lost so many jobs. By the way, gross, did you see? GDP, gross domestic product, was down under zero. Did you see it 2 days ago? I never even heard of it like that. It happened. But you know what that means? That means we're doing nothing. We're doing less than nothing. You look at China, India, you look at the new Japan, you look at these countries, they're making a fortune. And we're less than zero. We're down below zero. In other words, we're negative. It's impossible. Okay, so we all agree. Do we agree that if any one of these guys, I know you like some of the candidates, maybe after the speech you won't, because look, here's the difference. I'm going to make the country great again. They're not. They're not. Okay, you can, I don't give a crap if you go from my own country, but I will make it great. They won't. So here's the story. So they will not charge anything and the plant will be built. Is there anybody in the room, and I know you have some people, although we had more people than any of the other candidates, so you know more people here tonight than anybody else had, so that's a good sign. But is there anybody in the room that thinks that any one of the candidates, even if you're supporting those people, will make a better deal with Ford than Donald Trump? Now raise your hand. Is there anybody? One person. One person. How can you vote for these people? How can you vote for them? So here's what will happen. We all agree, Ford will go in, there won't be any tax, they'll make cars, they'll send them into the United States, and we lost thousands and thousands of jobs and lots of money, and it's a horrible deal for the United States, right? We all agree. Here's what happens with Trump. I will tell them 35%, and that's it, there's no negotiation. They'll call up the lobbyists, and they'll say, will you hit Trump? They say, we can't. He's impenetrable. He didn't want our money. I don't like that money. He doesn't want our money. He doesn't want to talk to us. He doesn't want. We can't talk to him. You can't, because I know what they want. They're friends of mine. They're nice people. Some of them. But they're nice people. Then they'll call the donors. And they say, aren't you a friend of Trump? Yeah. But he'll never do it. Because he's too smart. He's too good a business person. It's really bad for the country, you have to understand. So here's what's going to happen. Ford will first try the lobbyists, and they'll fail. They won't even bother calling. Then they'll try the donors. They won't call me, because they know me well enough. I'm friends with a lot of them. They're not going to bother calling. They're not going to waste their call. Then Ford is going to call me back. And they're going to give it probably one more shot, probably that afternoon. And they'll say, Mr. President, we really would like you to reconsider. I said, no. Okay, we're very upset with you, Mr. President. Probably they'll fold then. That's about 90% chance. But the worst that's going to happen is they'll call the next day. I would be the jobs president. I would be the greatest jobs president that God ever created. By the way, would you believe I'm Protestant? Can you believe? Nobody believes it. I'm Presbyterian, First Presbyterian Church. Can you believe it? First Presbyterian Church in Jamaica, New York. Can you believe it? And in fact, in some groups, I actually put up my whole thing. I put up pictures of me going to church. I mean, it's like wow. People don't believe it. I was a little boy. I was a nice little boy. I grew up very bad, but I was a nice little boy. Yeah, First Presbyterian Church. But you take a look at ISIS, and I'll tell you what drives me well. I was a big fan of General Douglas MacArthur. Do you know, in the history of West Point, this is for you, the greatest student ever in the history of West Point, to this day, was General Douglas MacArthur. Pretty smart guy, right? I'm also, of the modern guys, I'm also a big fan of General George Patton. This was a rough and tough cookie. We need somebody. I don't know. When I watch President Obama talking about the enemy and talking about how well we're doing in Yemen, 2 days later we're wiped out, how well we're doing against it. Did you see that last week where this press secretary is actually talking about the strategies working against ISIS? I said, he's got to be the worst representative, but he's told to do that. So I'll tell you what bothers me so much. Every single move we make militarily, we talk about it in press conference. There will be no boots on the ground. There will be boots on the ground. There will be this, there will be that. Remember the town, I won't mention names, but there was a town 6 months ago. We said, yes, we're going in 2 weeks. So what time? 11 o'clock? About 11:15. About 11:15 we're going. And we're going in 2 weeks. We're going to do this, we're going to do that. We're attacking from behind. And, okay, so I said, they're brilliant. They're brilliant. It's camouflage. They're going to do the opposite. They didn't. They did exactly what they said. And this town was brutal. They killed it. It was just brutal. It never fell. It was supposed to be an easy one because they'd never say they were going into a town that was hard because they weren't going to win. But this was an easy one. It turned out to be a disaster. It turned out to be forever. Many, many people killed. But they don't. And I can just imagine when these morons are standing up at a podium like this saying we're going in 2 weeks, and we're going to this, and we're attacking from the rear. General Douglas MacArthur, General George Patton, spinning in their grave. Spinning in their grave. So, we can make our country great again. We have to start moving quickly. The American dream, and this is rough, but it's true. The American dream is dead. But if I run and if I win, I'll bring the American dream back bigger and stronger and better than ever before. Thank you very much.